Okay, this one's gonna probably seem weird since, well, actually, I should probably get this out of the way first. To whoever the asshole it was that hit and ran the stray cat I was fond of petting and who was nice to me, fuck you if you happen to hear this, and you live in Texas, which probably is gonna be a broad, generalizing insult, but fuck it. Yeah. Anyway, I've made a habit in the past of shitting on Bethesda, so like seriously, to say I have a slanted opinion or like to say I have a bias towards Bethesda is an understatement. It would probably be more fair to say I have more of a slanted perception than a Chinaman complain about Trump's tariffs. And I make no apologies. Fuck Bethesda. And I'm also not a fan of their fanboys. The ones who enjoy their games, go with God. And if you enjoy the show, go also with God. Yeah, no. The sanest Bethesda fan I've ever heard of was the guy who killed his wife. That should tell you about how crazy I think these people sound. Anyway, which by the way, look up the pictures of that guy. His eyes were blackened. It was very creepy. He looked like a djinn, one of the black-eyed fairy kids. Anyway, so just a quick disclaimer I want to get out of the way. Second, while I don't hate the show, mainly because I didn't watch it because fuck Bethesda, I would sooner uh, probably join the military, or no, but I probably would rather join the military than ever do anything to benefit those fuckers again, or at least in a big sense, because fuck them, and the chief lisp that is known as Emil Pagliaro, who sucks as a writer. Anyway, while I don't like that, there's one thing about the show I did find interesting, which was a character just called the Ghoul. I mean, he actually has a name, but I prefer just calling him the Ghoul because actually was I didn't have a problem with them going somewhat with the whole man with no name bit. Although I do also find it kind of annoying how everyone who does a western now tries. They're like, we need to emulate Clint Eastwood. Like, why? Why you creatively bankrupt whores? For God's sakes, there are other westerns that did not involve Clint fucking Eastwood, and that's not even a knock on Eastwood. It's a knock on how unoriginal you fuckers are. You always go for the same fucking thing. To the point I want to bitch slap you. Both for both for poetic justice and for your lack of originality. To the point that I'm convinced you don't even try. There's that. There's also the fact of I was gonna bitch about how the ghoul also had that same stupid cowboy hat. Like seriously, every fucker who uses a cowboy hat now, which actually this is something I realized because of King Trout. All fuckers who wear cowboy hats now, they all have the same fucking brim. The tied it up, curving brim, and I fucking hate that brim. They always look the fucking same. Like you know the joke of how a guy goes, all black people look alike to him. That's what cowboy hats look like to me. But then I realized something as I was looking at the image today. Technically, the ghoul's hat doesn't look like that. It's half flat, half somewhat up. So kudos to Bethesda for at least getting that right. Now I say that to say this. While I'm not a fan of the show, mainly because one, I haven't seen it, two, the things I heard about it made me cringe at a reflex. Also, the fact that the ghoul apparently knew about this weakness in power armor that only he knew up until this entry, and also the fact they injected alphabet bullshit, and the fact that there are horses on the show, which makes no fucking sense. Horses are supposed to be extinct in Fallout, you hacks. Like, Jesus Christ. I swear to God, between this and the recent bullshit with DMC, I can't decide what's making me hate the entertainment industry more. With the lack of whatever. No, moving the fuck. So yeah, well, I hate it. No, yeah, oh God, it hurts to think. Anyway, video. That's what this is. I'm going to be talking about a sort of story idea taken from the ghoul in that show and why I like it and blah 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 blah. Yeah, but seriously, anyone who works on that show, if you happen to hear this, you are much like Abrams, a hack, and God Almighty, does it piss me off.
Is there a rest stop between now and the fucking point?
So the concept for this is simple. You have a ghoul who's actually not all there. He's kind of got some marbles loose. Basically, take the idea of a ghoul like Howard Cooper, otherwise known as the Ghoul, and have it be kind of like he has been around for a while, and he does do all he can to slow down the degradation and eventual transmogrification into a feral. But yeah, he's lived a long time and he's kind of crazy to the point that he has two separate voices in his head that aren't his conscious thoughts. Kind of like Deadpool. Deadpool has like there's a red box and a I forget what but there's two different colored boxes that I think represent two different parts of his crazy mind or whatever. The Ghoul is kind of like that. He's also a gunslinger who actually uses a gun that I wish I had written the name down before this, but basically it's basically based off a revolver that's somewhat similar to a revolver that was mainly used exclusively by the Confederacy because fuck it, I wanted to be unique here. It's a revolver similar to that, only the loading system's probably better, and it has a little insignia on the handle, which is the cross and the nails. If you don't know what that is, that was the coat of arms for Machiavelli. I've always liked that symbol. Walks around with a long coat. He has dark eyes, the devil's eyes, a mare's leg on his back, a small pack, and well, a bunch of different things. And mainly the plot of the story is he's looking for a copy of the Krevbechnia. And if you don't know what the Krevbechnia is, for the non-Fallout fans who happen to watch this or listen to this, I guess, think the Necronomicon, not the Evil Dead one. The Evil Dead one's actually kind of a softball one. Like it does a similar thing, but the one that Lovecraft made was actually kind of scarier because I think some people went crazy as a result of finding it. You know, like the Mad Arab Abdul Al Hazred, but I actually like him. He was actually kind of a cool character. Well, in Fallout, if you find this book, you go nuts. One guy found it. He abandoned his son. His son spent years looking for him, and then he too went crazy. And you can actually hear his descent into madness eventually if you find the right holotapes, where he's repeating like a bunch of words that are somewhat Lovecraftian, replete with Al Hazred mentioned in it, because they had to also add that because Fallout is supposed to be basically 1950sville in for some reason in the future because yeah, fuck it. I'm so tolerable of it because at least it gives a good reference to the pulps, like the shadows mentioned as the Silver Shroud and all that shit. Although no Solomon Kane, I'm somewhat disappointed. You give Conan the Barbarian's overrated ass a reference, but you don't give one to Solomon Kane. I am so mad. I am so mad and so disappointed, Bethesda writers. But then again, you are often so disappointing. I know how most Asian dads feel when their son fails to get into Harvard. Anyway, he's been sent to recover a copy of this, and I don't know if there's one. I don't think there are other Krevbechnias in the Fallout's world. There are certain things like the old ones, though, so you never know. And this is just a story I kind of was putting together for my own amusement. But basically, he's sent to look for this. Goes through one town, sent to look for a guy named Dementus. Causes a mass shootout. Possibly encounters an eldritch being, and just the whole time you're seeing this guy who's kind of crazy go around looking at everything like, what the hell is this? Also, who shot this Deathclaw? The marksmanship is all over the place. I mean, granted, I can still eat it properly, but then I can eat a lot of things, including people. And also, you kind of see things like what uh, his past was, although you're not supposed to get a full intent of it. But yeah, no, basically, it's just like you see him go out, pursue a copy of this book to have it locked away, because yeah, the one Krevbechnia we see in the game, which was 3 and the Farpoint DLC, like once you download it, you see an old family from Louisiana who want it, and they're crazy. They are crazy. Like imagine crazy old hicks from the South who are eccentric and live in isolation, and you wouldn't want to piss them off because their neighbors look like they're knockoffs of the Leatherface family. That's how I describe these fuckers. And they want the book. And thankfully, there's a lady there who is like, look, just if you find that thing, destroy it. There's an altar that can destroy it. Destroy that thing by all, for the love of God, destroy it. So that should tell you how awful this thing is. And how just very unsavory it is. And the ghoul's like, fuck it, I got nothing better to do. Because, again, fuck it, I am very bored. I need to do things, and, well, yeah, every man's got to eat somehow, and God only knows I'm not a big fan of eating people all the time, or at all. Plus, he likes shooting things. Shooting things is always a plus, and I don't care what anyone says. That is a plus. You can blow me if you say that's like you're a gun fetishist. To which I can always say, so what? I like guns. I like seeing them be shot. I mean, I like a lot of things. I also like redheads and dark-skinned women and crawfish. Dear God, what is wrong with me? I have issues. I have issues. Huh. But yeah, that's the basically the plot. You get references to a Judge Holden. There's actually a toad vine present in the story as well, and also Sharp. If you know what the show Sharp is and you recognize that reference, bully for you. That's more or less the pitch. Probably did a shitty job. Actually, I'm willing to bet money I did a shitty job of this, but fuck it. I've been meaning to get this out of my head and onto video format for a while, so fuck it. Also, it's basically a short story, like a pulp. Just cut into chapters. I don't know if I'll ever write, but hey, if you find some way to use this for yourself or it gives you a story idea, go with God. Actually, write something with it. Write it, Crom, damn it. Then I'm going to stop now because I did just wake up after an hour from a 4 hour shift and I've been working for 3 days straight, which admittedly that's nothing, but for me that's probably a psychosis inducing for all I'm now concerned how fucking fragile everything is. To the point I kind of want to find the fucker who was crying about working at Starbucks and say, hey asshole, you think working in an air conditioned building's so bad? Try walking up and down a lot in Home Depot in the Texas heat, grabbing carts, lifting heavy cement bags, and every time you check the clock, whatever time you think is past, it is not even remotely close. Sorry. The fuck is wrong with me?
Is there a rest stop between now and the fucking point?
Yes. Stop having private moment 273 with your psychosis, Nathan Stein. We have lives to get back to. Okay. Oh, yeah, one last thing. If you're a fan of the first Dark Tower book, there's also some reference to that. And it is basically that. You're seeing a guy. Oh, actually, there was one thing I forgot to mention. All this takes place in Arizona, not the East or West Coast, because I am really sick of this pretentious need for all these fuckwits to set everything in either sunny California or the East Coast with the capital wasteland or Boston. For God's sake, there are other places in America that don't have coastlines, you cunts. There's Arkansas, for God's sake. And not even Arkansas, you don't even have to do that. You could go to, I don't know, Chicago. God only knows there's probably lots of triggermen there. But yeah, this is set in Arizona in a setting that's basically set after the Battle of Hoover Dam, where the Legion lost, and Kaiser has long since been put out of our misery by that tumor. And basically, the Legion is now in a state similar to what happened after Alexander the Great died. And I forget the term, but basically, like, you have an Arizona where there are a bunch of different groups of Legionnaires, ruled by different guys, and they are just and they're just hanging on to power. Or at least this part of the region is ruled by one. So he has to deal with that. Deals with a guy, a faker who has his own power armor, and yeah, that's the main point I also forgot to add. And I now feel I almost regret making this for some reason. Yeah, yeah, I'm out and all that, and good day. Oh yeah, and fuck it. Remember the game was rigged from the start.
I welcome death.